white people. And yes, I'm white. And the reason I'm sick of white people is because no matter how much fact, no matter how much scripture you all are presented with, Hebrews in the Bible were, and who they are in the earth today, which would be the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, the Native Americans, the Aborigines, no matter what you're presented with, you still want to dispute this and maintain your superior, pompous, arrogant attitudes. And it makes me sick. I come across these so-called biblically based websites, and listed for the 12 tribes of Israel are all European countries. What is wrong with you people? You should be ashamed of yourselves. After everything people have been through at the hand of the white man, slaughtered, ran off their land, and stolen from them, would it kill you? Would it kill you to acknowledge the fact that these could be God's chosen elect? Well, and unfortunately, in the words of King Solomon, there's nothing new under the sun. As a matter of fact, I'd like to read what King David had to say regarding this. And this is from Psalm 83. They have taken counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together on consent. They have a confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, that's you white people, Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, the Hagareans, Gebal and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, and with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Selah. So, yeah. Despite the fact that there's an African tribe with a piece of the Ark of the Covenant, and despite the fact that it's been proven that Native American tribes wrote in ancient Hebrew, a very ancient form of Hebrew, you still want to think that you're Israelites. And I hate to break it to you white people, but you are Edom. You are Edomites, the descendants of Esau, Jacob's brother. And I guess this is where that term comes from. The white man is the devil. Well, in this case, the truth, it hurts oh so bad.
And I thought I'd go and have a look at Jewish literature to see what they say about their origins. And here we see 3 quotes. And the first is 25 Jewish Encyclopedia, which says that Esau, Edom, is modern Jewry. And of course this is contrary to what most people believe today, which is that the Jews are God's chosen people because they are the Israelites. But here the Jewish literature is saying that they are actually from the tribe of Edom, not the tribe of Israel. In the Jewish Almanac in 1980 it says, strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew or to call a contemporary Jew an Israelite or Hebrew. And that's because, truthfully speaking, they are not the Hebrews or Israelites, they are really the Edomites. And also we see here in the Encyclopedia Judaica that Edomite Jews began to call themselves Hebrews and Israelites in 1860.
Let me just reveal some things. First of all, that the Jews who were brought in Israel, most of them are white. Not most of them, almost all of them are white, including me. I was brought in Israel from a country which is called Bulgaria. It's a European country. And actually, a European country, there are Jews, and there is an organization, Jewish Agency, which is trying to take the Jews to Israel. If you track this organization, you can find out that this is not an Israeli organization. This is an American organization. Jewish Agency is an American, which has the exclusive right to decide who is Jewish and who is not on this planet, and who to be taken to Israel and who's not. Now, if you do research, you will find out that in Africa, in Black Africa, they're looking for Jews only in Ethiopia. They bring Jews only from Ethiopia. And I can tell you by knowing a lot of people, Ethiopian Jews here in Israel, that they did very badly, very badly. And many of them commit suicide because they cannot take it. So they come from some place, Ethiopia, they don't have much there, but they live decent life. And when they come here and try to be humiliated and so on, some of them cannot even take it. Now, what I'm trying to say is that why from each white country this Jewish agency is trying to bring Jews, and when it's about Black Africa, they're going to Ethiopia, and this is where they stop. The only one place. Now, because of the same thing, they're trying to do the white supremacy here. They try to bring white guys here and to take the supremacy over Arabs, which are the local citizens, which are so far they're only the Ethiopian Jews. Now, another question is why? Why America needs Israel? In Israel there is no oil like in other Middle Eastern countries. There's nothing to. But why do they do all these things? Why do they invest money, bring white people and so on, when they build their system of white supremacy just like Israel? Why? And I can tell you why. Because the true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can 30 and some other places, they have never been white. They have people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. But they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, and gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here, and to tell you these are the Jews. Gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, mistreat white people like this guy, just to tell this lie that you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the and so on. It has been deleted your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find it. It's all about you. I'm telling you this, please. I don't ask you to come to Israel. I'm just asking you to start thinking this way, to believe me a little bit, because I'm living in Israel and I'm part of this injustice. I really believe that people like me and you, we can bring the justice back. Thank you.
But who else are the real Shemites? There are other anti-Zionist, non-Ashkenazi, Torah-keeping Jews worldwide that are the true Shemites. Just like the Yemenite Jews and the black African Shemites. I most probably shouldn't go here, but I will anyway. You see, after the destruction of the temple, yes, the Jews, the poor Jews, remained in the land, but there was a migration as well of the more affluent Jews to Yemen and to other parts of Africa. You see, the black African Shemites then taken away in slave ships. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And who were the old slave ships? Who were the biggest slavers in the 16th century? The Ashkenazi were the biggest in the 16th and 17th century, going into the 18th century. You see, Ashkenazi slaving was huge. This is from, I have to be careful when I say this, so my sources, it's always best to go with Jewish sources, right? Because you just try, so we'll go with the Jewish sources. There's a ton of sources out there, like the Jewish ones, because that's just safer. The Jewish scholar Jonathan Shorshak says this: Jewish merchants routinely possessed enormous numbers of slaves temporarily before selling them off. If a slave auction fell on a Jewish festival, it was postponed due to lack of buyers. And the Jews of Suriname gave their slave plantations Hebrew names such as Machanayim, Nachamu, and Goshen. Rabbi Herbert Bloom adds that the slave trade was one of the most important important Jewish activities. In 1694, Jews owned 9,000 African Shemites. Jewish slaving is in fact confirmed by the Jewish Encyclopedia. In the days that we live, there's nothing more important than this Melchizedek message to the true Shemites. Because this Melchizedek message of the true Shemites is the solution. It is the solution to the Palestinian problem. It is the solution to the black matter that is being fomented by the synagogue of Satan. It is the solution to racial tensions, segregation, that is all part of the synagogue of Satan's plot. Yahweh's people to fight amongst themselves based upon the color of our skin. That is ridiculous, but that is what that we keep our minds off of them as the true slave of Yahweh's people. When we all realize behind this racial and political fermentation, the synagogue of Satan, and when we join the priesthood together as Joseph's coat, we're victorious. Then we're victorious over the New World Order slavers, their Luciferic, Levitical perversion. You see, they're obsessed with blood. They're obsessed with their blood, and they're obsessed with your blood, but they're not obsessed with Yahusha's blood.
And I'd like to now bring up another interesting place that you find descendants of the Israelites, but may not necessarily be from the 10 tribes, but will also play a role, and shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very serious scenario. It's Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now, of being from the people of Israel. I mean they were from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea, a few hundred years after the tribes of Israel went to exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery. Into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. I'd like to bring up a few specific examples. So they're going to be game changers. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. Left them, they said, African Israelites, these people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country, they got nothing. We're coming to Israel, we got innovation, technology. So they're trying to get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world are able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. And everyone kind of laughed at them, like I said. And people took it serious and went out there and started studying them, learned about their culture. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. And he showed not only did they share Semitic gene people who were in Yemen, back to the Middle East, these gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A, carry this genetic marker to let us know that they share the same as in the Ashkenaz, and the population of the people in Israel today, they share the same exact DNA marker. It's mind-blowing. So everyone kind of got humbled a little bit, who laughed at them and said, now what? Now what do we do about this? This could have tremendous implications. Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people, or Igbo, pronounced either way. There's 40 million of them, also Christians, like I spoke about before, how that could happen for the children of Israel very easily. But also, a lot of them are now coming out and converting back or adopting the rules without all the paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years. There's been books written about it from scholars in Nigeria, from scholars from the Jewish